Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, everybody. This is your brother, Preacher Moss, and welcome to another edition, episode 11, alhamdulillah, of the Shout Out Show. Listen, today's show, we're going to kick back a little bit. I know we've been going on some heavy topics, needed discussions, but still heavy topics. So I thought today would be funny if we kind of talked about things that are relating to us right now. I know everybody's dealing with the stresses of COVID-19, and we're not going to get to that today or tomorrow, might even not even next year. You're going to have to get used to it. In the words of my mentor, Reginald Kitchen, in this situation, brothers and sisters, you're either going to get better or you're going to get bitter. I choose to get better. And I appreciate everybody coming on. We have Brother Altaf Rashid all the way from Canada. Assalamu alaikum to you, brother. I'm going to shout you out on the show. Thank you for coming on. But today, we're just going to talk about funny Ramadan stories. I mean, I have some classic ones, and I'm sure some of you have some classic ones as well. One of my favorite Ramadan stories, actually, is when I first was teaching, and I just taken my Shahada, new Muslim wet behind the ears. I mean, you can count the days I was Muslim. That's how bad it was. And I taught a pretty rough class. I taught in Milwaukee Public School System. I taught severely emotionally disturbed children, and I was a first-year teacher. So basically, I was getting eaten alive. I mean, eaten alive. This was the best time for me to be Muslim because it tested my faith. I was like, if Allah, you really love me, you would have gave me a regular education classroom. However, my point is, in this classroom, I mean, I took hell from these kids every day, and I tried to give it back. That's how stupid I was as a teacher. But this particular time was actually kind of funny because I started fasting. I think it was on a weekend. I think like 92 or whatever. And I came into class with such a different, that Ramadan face we put on. People was like, please don't bother me. I'm fasting for my Lord. That whole thing. I've used it to get out of a couple of traffic tickets where I was speeding. I was told the cop I was fasting. I didn't know I was going fast. However, my point is, I was in this classroom, and I mean, I had the roughest of the rough kids. Today, I pray for these kids, and I pray they're well. I pray they're still here on this earth, and Allah's protecting them and their families. But in this particular time, I came in the classroom, and I didn't have the usual fight. I mean, the kids were up and rambunctious, and I just didn't have the energy because I was fasting, and it was, I was getting used to it. And what happened was, one of the kids pulled me to the side. He was like the manager of the group. He's like, hey, Mr. Moss, I'm noticing that you're not giving us the usual energy. What's going on? I said, well, I'm fasting. He says, what does that mean? I said, well, kid's name was Fontaine Shepherd. I said, Fontaine, I am fasting. He said, what does that mean? It means I can't eat. He said, what? I said, no, I can't eat. Sun up, sun down. And he was like, word? I said, yeah. He said, you can't eat at all? I said, mm-mm. So he went back to his room. And they went back to his desk and he put out a sandwich and started eating it right away. However, the next day I had worse energy, but I was trying to focus on my fast, really trying to make my job in the classroom mean something more purposeful because I was having a rough time, as many of us do during Ramadan. We don't have to front on the Shout Out Show. We know we have issues and situations going on around fasting, and sometimes, we have to work through it. Allah gives us the time to work through it. Came back to class the second time. Hey, this is my big sis. Assalamu alaikum, Layla. I'm talking about funny fasting stories. I'm glad you tuned in. So my classroom was normally out of order. I was a first-year teacher. I was horrible. I gathered the kids together because I didn't want to have to tell them individually I was fasting because I thought it would be better. This is my teaching management style at the time. So I told all the kids, listen, I'm fasting, which means from sun up to sundown, I'm not going to be eating anything, drinking anything. I said, I'm going to try to be the best person I can. Please forgive me if I'm irritable, but this is what it is. Thank you very much, kids. And they were like, wow. And so a day later, classroom is perfect. I mean, no arguments, no fights. Kids are doing their homework. They came in with clean clothes. I mean, I'm like, what happened to my classroom? And I pulled the little spokesman to the side. I said, Fontaine, why the kids are all good? He goes, well, Mr. Moss, we know that you're fasting. You're not eating. You're not drinking anything. I said, yeah. I said, but why are they acting so good? He said, well, I told them that if they act bad, then you eat them. And I looked at him and I said, that's right. And you're looking kind of good right now, young man. But my point is, funny Ramadan stories. Some of my best Ramadan stories come from the fact that I was never in one place. I was always traveling during Ramadan. Anybody have like a Ramadan faux pas? Like one time I was in my Ramadan space. I was not, I wasn't on my game. I was present, but I wasn't present. You know what I'm saying? Like you're there in body, in mind, body and spirit, but in mind you're someplace else. I was at I was trying to get some food right at the end of Ramadan. I am hustling, trying to grind. What's up, Big B? This is my man here, Bilal International. What's up, baby? Thank you for coming on. Walaikum assalam. All right, I have some classic ones. Basically, I mistook my car for the wrong car, and I got in the car, and I sat in, and my key didn't work, and I realized I was in the wrong car. And the thing that really made it clear I was in the wrong car was this white lady who was to my right. I think she was like 147 years old, and me getting in the car would have made it 148. And I started to go into this thing about fasting and being Muslim. I'm like, that's just more stuff they're gonna put on the police report. And I looked at her, and I looked her up and down, and I said, you pass. And I got out of the car. I don't know what test I was given. I was like, you pass. And she looked at me like, thank you, black man. See, these are Ramadan stories. Bilal Mustafa, I know you have 101 Ramadan stories, man. You know, some of my best ones also come from, what's up, Ahmed? What's up, baby? From WA, congratulations on that award. And this is my sister from Minneapolis. Shout out to you. And give my salams to your daughter, as always. Some of my favorite run-on stories come to the fact that at one time, this is a great story. I was on the road with George Lopez. And I had been, it was two situations. George didn't know, he knew I was Muslim, but he didn't know what it meant. Like he knew I was Muslim, number one, but number two, he knew what it meant. So this one particular time, we were on the road. I think it was Kansas City. We were working at a club called Stanford's. And I had gone the week before, we were someplace, and I took off. Like he didn't know where I was. But back in the day, you didn't have the apps. So it was always a challenge when I was on the road for like Thursday, like Wednesday night, Thursday, it was always a panic, a lot of anxiety trying to get trying to get to Juma, because you didn't know where Juma was. You know what I'm saying? This is old school stuff. You know, in the yellow pages, you're looking for Muslims. But long story short, I'm trying to get to Juma, and I figured out how to get there. I think it was Bakersfield, California. I get to Juma. We've done this radio broadcast before. George is calling the hotel. He can't get a hold of me. My whole thing is, as long as I get to the show on time, my time is my time, your time is your time. He couldn't get a hold of me, and God bless him, man. He was really worried because, like, we're boys. He's like, oh, man. So I got to the show. He's like going off, like, where were you? Where were you? And I was like, I was at the mosque. He's like, what's a mosque? I was like, a mosque. And he's like, oh, what are you doing there? I was like, it's Friday. It's Friday prayers, George. And I explained to him. He's like, oh, my gosh, man. I'm so sorry. He goes, please, you know, next time just let me know. I'm worried about you. I said, alhamdulillah, bro. I appreciate it. So fast forward, I think like a week or two, I'm in Kansas City. Classic Ramadan story. So I'm in Kansas City. I'm doing my fast, right? George is like, what's going on? What's happening with you? With your energy? I'm like, look, man, I hydrate right before the show. When I do the show, he goes, what's that for? I said, well, it's Ramadan. I tell him the whole thing about Ramadan, the discipline, the meaning of it, the revealing of the Quran. He's like, man, you do that? I said, no, man, Muslims around the world do it. He's like, word? I was like, yeah. And George is like, you know what, man? I'm going to do Ramadan. I was like, hold on a minute, brother. I don't know that's for you. He was like, no, man, I could do it. And he was like, what do I have to do? I said, man, take it a little part, a little piece at a time. George, I said, tell you what, man, maybe, maybe like for Ramadan, like you don't drink. He was like, I could do that. And I'm here to tell you that was probably That was probably the worst 7 minutes of his life. He definitely didn't want to be Muslim after that. I give him 8 minutes. 8 minutes. 8 minutes. He fasted with alcohol for 8 minutes a day, but he was awake. That was important. He made a conscious decision. The best one. Well, I'm trying to think of like the best. Ahmed, put on your shoes, brother. The best one I can think of is before I was Muslim. I was on the road, and well, no, let's go back to Kansas City with Lopez. So it was Ramadan, and I actually was going to Juma, but we had talked about going to Juma because we would be in cities. We worked the club, but we didn't really know anybody. You know what I mean? We didn't know any folks. So it was important to stay connected because you didn't have cell phones. You couldn't text. You know what I'm saying? So he goes, listen, to avoid what happened last week, Preach, I've arranged for you to get a ride to the mosque. Just find out where it is. So I found out where it is. And his brother's name, I never forget, his name was Wayne. Wayne was a driver. What's up, brother Akib? Wayne was a driver. And he said, I'm going to pick you up. And I told him one time to pick me up. And I'm feeling good, like, yo, man, this is so nice. I don't have to hustle a ride to get to Juma. I'm feeling like a little star, if you don't mind. I'm feeling like a little star on Juma Day. You know, your boy gonna get the little ride, the little hookup. Now, Wayne had like a regular car, but at this point in time, you know, beggars can't be choosers. I'm gonna get in the back seat just because I'm gonna be driven, right? So I forgot Wayne was a professional driver. So when he comes to pick me up, this is hilarious. I'm like, where you at? Where you at? You know, where you at? He tells me on the way. And he says, okay. And I'm looking for him, right? I'm looking. I can't see him. I don't see his car. And I'm kind of panicking, like, yo, assalamu alaikum, Sister Linda. Thank you for the shout out. I'm looking for, I don't see his car. He rolls down the window. It's a stretch limousine. I'm like, yo, where's the regular car? He goes, listen, I couldn't avoid it. I have to make a run out to the airport. I figured I would drop you off and come back and pick you up. I'm like, look, I got to get to Juma. This is odd, though. So here we are, rolling through some of the roughest parts of Kansas City in a limousine. And we pull up in front of this masjid. It's like a house masjid. Like the steps are crooked. It's like, but alhamdulillah, I'm like, it's a house of Lord. I'm going in. And we pull up in front of it. So you got to imagine this masjid that's really struggling. And they see a big stretch limousine pull up in front of the masjid. And I pop out like, hey, assalamu alaikum. And pop on in. And the whole time during the khutbah, the imam kept talking about money. He would look at me. And the Lord said, give generously. He said, give out of your wealth. I'm like, man, will you look at somebody else? I'm about as broke as you. So it's funny. So after Juma's over, the brother's like, okay, man, come back for iftar. I'm like, all right, Sheikh, I'll come back. And it was funny, man. I come back with no limousine. And the brother looked at me like, oh. He was disappointed. I was like, God, I couldn't even. You know what? And I'm gonna say this about Ramadan, man. You always look at people's behavior around Ramadan. I think that's where you get the most jokes. You get the most jokes. Like, I mean, Ramadan is a cure for a lot of folks. God bless him, man. I know a brother. He was like, yeah, man. You know, it's like a dude could commit triple murder, and he'd be like, hey, I did, but I'm faster right now. No, brother, you still committed triple murder. But, and I want to make a note. Yesterday, I did talk about the subject of talking to difficult people. And a brother who I was reaching out to, who's a difficult person, he reached out. He gave me a call. And him being a difficult person, I ain't answer the phone, man. I'm not trying to put in that time with you. You know what I'm saying? You saw the broadcast. But I will call you back. I will call you back. But if anybody here has any stories about Ramadan, some funny Ramadan stories, I love to hear them because it's a unique time of the year. Because I joke about Ramadan, but I remember my first one. All I wanted to do was be officially stamped as Muslim. Like, you can't, you might not be able to go to Hajj, but Ramadan is like the real joint, man. The real joint. And it's always funny to find people that some people have good intentions in Ramadan, but it just needs work. Like your fast needs work. Here's some of the top quotes I've heard from people who weren't fasting well. I'll start with number 3. I was with a brother, and we were fasting. He knew he was fasting, and he reaches into his refrigerator, he pulls out a soda and some chicken, and he starts eating it. And I said, well, brother, man, I didn't know you were sick. He was like, no, I'm not sick. I was like, what's going on? I said, you can't eat the chicken. I said, it's Ramadan. You're not supposed to eat the chicken. I don't want to jump on people's fast. He looked at me and goes, oh, man, relax. Look. He said, I ate the chicken. That's true. But I didn't enjoy it. So my fast is still good. And I was like, that is genius. I can't wait to use that one day. I'm like, man, yeah, I ate the food, but I didn't enjoy it. Thus, my fast is still good. So, some quick notes that the show it'll be at the same time tomorrow, but we're going to be changing the format up. We're going to actually have some guests on. I'm not major guests, major to me because I appreciate them coming on the show. But I'm saying just people coming on, just trying to spread some cheer. I am getting, I'm getting a little worn down because people have, they got the Ramadan COVID blues. I'm like, you can't put those in. COVID was a surprise. Ramadan is every year. You can't put those two together. My Ramadan is messed up because of COVID. No, you messed up because of COVID. Ramadan is going to be here without you. And I think about that too, man. The idea that even during the worst of times, not only the worst of times, stop calling COVID the worst of times. It's the worst of presidents, but it's not the worst of times. I would say, listen, this is probably one of the best times while you're at home, dealing with your family, because you're going to realize while you're fasting, you're going to realize that some of the people in your house, you may not love them as much as you thought you did. Hunger is a filter for truth. Hunger is a filter for truth. Hey, this is my little homie right here, all the way from Australia, brother. Nazim, this young man is a star. I love this brother, man. Hey, no beef with you out, but you need to call me, and I need to see some pictures of my nephew. That's all I'm saying. Even if you don't call me, I want a picture of the little man. That could be my little eat gift. All right. So here's a funny story too, man. This is the flip side of when you're fasting. That's when people ask you're fasting. I see some skits online, and no, not the skits are a little corny. Black people black Muslims haven't explained to black folk that their fasting is the funniest thing in the world. Like my first Ramadan, I did it all wrong. I'm gonna tell you this: I did it all wrong. All I know was no food, no water. That was all I heard: no food, no water. And I did it all wrong, man. I'm happy to tell you that I did it all wrong. I didn't use dates for probably the first, 6 years for being 6 years of being Muslim because I don't like dates. I like Snickers. You ever get invited to a Ramadan? Oh yeah, I'm gonna put this up right here. That's what I'm talking about. All they had was dates. Kansas City. All right, so I don't want to shout anybody. Yeah, but yeah, they bought the dates out, and all that was left after the dates were gone was the plate. However, I actually had explained to my grandmother, who at the time she was aging, and she was aging. I think she was like, oh man, I think like 70, mid-70s, and she made this food. So she was having a hard time with me becoming a Muslim anyway. Because she was like, I see Cassius Clay was the only Muslim she knew. Like the only living Muslim was Cassius Clay. Listen to me, Cassius Clay, not Muhammad Ali. Okay? Cassius Clay. Because he was cute. That's what she said. But she made this food, and I was on this thing, when you go hard when you first become Muslim. You go hard because you want everybody to know you're in this for the game. That's what it is. You want everybody to know that you're real with this faith. Okay, so my grandmother makes every wrong thing for a Muslim to eat on this particular day. I'm talking about bacon. I'm talking about sausage. I'm talking about the greens got hog in them. I mean, the whole house smells like ooh wee. All right. So I walk in and my grandma's like, baby, I fixed your favorite. I'm like, grandma, I love you. That's why you have to say it when you're about to say something real foul to your grandmother. I said, Grandma, I love you, but I can't eat this. And she goes, what's wrong? I said, Grandma, I'm a Muslim. She said, go like Cassius Clay. I said, that's the only one she knew. Like Cassius Clay? I said, yes, ma'am. I said, no, Grandma, peace out, big Saeed. Saeed, that's my big brother. I said, no, Grandma, I'm Muslim. She goes, what does that mean? I tell her. But the main thing I get to, forget about Quran, forget about the Sunnah of the Prophet, forget about Shahada. I'm like, Grandma, I can't eat pork. And she's like, oh, Lord. That was about to give her a heart attack. She's like Fred Sanford, like, oh. And I'm like, well, she's like, so what does that mean? I say, I can't eat pork. She goes, well, you could take the pork out. I said, it doesn't work that way. And I'm like, I can't eat anyway. She said, what do you mean? And I said, well, Grandma, I'm a Muslim, it's Ramadan. She said, what is Ramadan? And you Ramadan? What does that mean? She thought Ramadan was always like shooting heroin. Are you Ramadan again? I said, no, Grandma. I said, I can't eat anything from sun up to sundown. And she goes, really? I said, I can't eat anything from sun up to sundown. I'm a Muslim. And she literally looks at me. She goes, baby, you ain't no Muslim. You're a vampire. I was like, oh my gosh, man. And here's Bilal. Bilal, this is I'm going to put it up, Bilal. I hope you don't mind. That's it. Masjid Wharf in Oakland. Go and get it. This Masjid Wharf in Oakland, if you're out there and you go for iftar, you're going to get this food. You're going to get this food. Masjid Wharf has the best food, but coincidentally has the highest cholesterol level during the month of Ramadan. And of course, how many of y'all have eaten too much? You maxed out your iftar. Tell the truth. How many people ever maxed out their iftar? All right, last story, because I only do 25 minutes because I got other things to do. By the way, I don't know. It's a merciful Allah. I don't know. I was messing around on cable, and there's this new service, I think called Platform, whatever it is, Penguin. I don't know what it is. They have the complete collection of Columbo. So I've been Columboing out. I ain't gonna lie. I read a little Quran and I watch Columbo. Little Columbo, read a little Quran. That's the way it is. All right. Ramadan. There you go. All right. So here we go. I'm gonna put that up. All right. I can't remember the story, but man, you keep distracting me, man. You keep distracting me. All right. Oh. The worst iftar I have ever had. Now, people, this is a story of gluttony. So move your computer back a little bit. I went to Olive Garden with a brother, and it was all you could eat entrees. No, all you could eat appetizers. And we went in with bad intentions. I think we made dua at the car like, oh Allah, please allow us to eat everything in here today for $19.99. I think that was the dua we made. So we find out that it's not only endless appetizers, but they have a special on the entrees. So I'm getting salad, minestrone. And then I got some. Basically we ate for 45 minutes after Ramadan went down. They have the peach tea. So literally, I'm like, give me an IV of peach tea. Just put it right here, and I'll lean out on it. People, we ate so much that when it got time to leave, we paid the bill. And we're trying to call ourselves going somewhere to, do Taraweeh. The brother looked at me and he says, we're at the car. The brother looked at me and he goes, man, I can't drive. I said, what you mean you can't drive? He said, you take the keys, you drive. And I look at him and go, man, I can't drive either. People, we ate so much food. Wallahi. We were drunk from food. We literally had to sit on the curb by the car for 20 minutes and wait for the swelling to go down so we could drive safely. Those are my funny Ramadan stories. Hope you have some too. This is your brother Preacher Moss signing off. God bless you and keep holding it down. Love you. Yeah, it was double itis. I can't even call it regular itis. He says it's itis. Look, it was triple itis. It was like, that itis was so bad, Corona wouldn't come back and be like, no, we're going to let them brothers, let that swelling go now. I'm talking about that's how bad it was. Look, this people love you. Continue to support the show. I will continue to put the show out there. I appreciate your support. Hey, until tomorrow, remember, there's always tomorrow, inshallah. And don't overeat during iftar. Don't overeat. Hey, my brother here, Johnny Thomas. Love you, little bro. All right. So, hey, nice graphic. So, listen, I will see everybody tomorrow, inshallah. And I appreciate you meeting me on this side of the dirt. That's real. And, share some little funny Ramadan stories, not with me if you can with me, but also with other people. Because at this point in time, it's always good to laugh internally. Don't laugh outwardly because, that breath just, you know what I'm saying. Preacher Moss. Shout out show. See you tomorrow.